the road rise up to me.
Welcome to my little space where heart and hook stitch up a place where we can together make a refuge safe for all our sake.
May the rains fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again.
So, I am this far into this custom doll. She has sparkly silver down here, but this is actually not underwear. This is going to be the top of her pants. She'll have legs with the sparkly silver as pants. And the plan is to make her a sweater in this purple on top of her body. Usually when I make dolls, the skin of the body is like their outfit, you know, so to speak, so you can't really remove anything. And you won't be able to remove this sweater, but I'm stitching this sweater to be separate from the skin of the doll because I want it to have like a little bit of an oversized look. So I'm doing basically a circular yoke here, and I will expand it until I connect it under the arms, and then I'll slip it on over the front. I'm leaving it undone in the back, and then I'll stitch it up the back to like permanently attach it. You won't be able to take it off because it won't fit over her head. So that's where I am with that. So this week I once again will just be popping in here and there throughout the entire week as I go through my crochet projects, because I have currently 11 open orders in my Etsy shop, and I'll take you along the journey with me, showing you some of my crochet along the way. Since I'm wearing it, I may as well show it off a little. This is a little shrug that I made for myself a long time ago for my birthday once with some yarn that I got for my birthday. It obviously doesn't give much warmth at all, like none at all. So I do layer it over something like this because it's just a pretty addition. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna get to some crocheting here, and I'll see you back in a bit. All right, it is kind of late in the evening now, but I wanted to show you that I finished my little dolly. She's a custom request. I will find out whether or not I can use the pictures of the actual girl. Her little Adidas shoes. She's the birthday girl. She's got 4 little ponytails with bows on the fronts and little balls on the back, and these little pieces of hair around her face with the clips on it. So yeah, I love her. I don't like it when it takes me longer than 2 days to make a doll, and I actually started her like 2 nights ago, but around this time at night. So it basically took me a full 2 days to finish her. Obviously, this is not the only thing I do in those 2 days, but that's the amount of crochet that I was able to get through in 2 days. So yeah, I really love this little face design without a mouth. I mean, I like it with the mouth too, and my customers have a choice. They can do it either way, or even without the plastic safety eyes, and I can just crochet a dot for the eyes as well. But I feel like you can imagine her having any expression, right? She could be angry, she could be happy, she could be sad or curious. So I feel like it opens up a lot of possibility for a child to imagine different emotions. So there's that. And now I'm going to finish one mouth puppet to have to ship tomorrow. So I have these parts ready to finish. You've seen me making these in previous episodes, chapters, and I have a button that I selected this color at random in my batch of buttons that I have sorted out for these. And so because it's a mouth puppet with tongue ties. So I'm going to finish that right now tonight. And then the next thing I have to make is another little Rocky Owl, and I probably won't get that done tonight to ship out tomorrow because I'm going to ship out tomorrow again. I shipped on Monday, and tomorrow's Thursday. I'm shipping again because that's the next time I have to ship one particular item. So I actually also sold, I will show it off right here, a vest that that I made a while back. It's another Star Lily Creations pattern. It's her Flower of Life Fae Vest pattern, which is available in written form or in a Patreon tutorial, so whichever means you want to find it. And this was made during a time that I was just selling out. Every time I made one and listed it, basically it sold. So I was just coming up with lots of different color combinations, and then they eventually slowed down, and I didn't sell this one until just literally 40 minutes before my sale was going to end, my Etsy Cyber Week sale. So this person snagged it just in the nick of time to get 50% off. So if you missed it, sorry. I'm not going to do that again until possibly next year around the same time, so leading up to Christmas. I don't run sales very often in that kind of way. I may still have some of my oldest items kind of perpetually on sale. I haven't quite decided whether I want to do that again or not. I think I might, just for some of the oldest items that I have sitting around that have been in my bins for several years. So but right now nothing is marked down in my shop, which is fine. I can get around to doing that soon though. And yeah, I don't ever put sales on like items that would be an order for me to make fresh, because this time of year I just get booked up anyway, and why would I do that? Or on my best sellers that I can't keep in stock. So my sales are only for sometimes my patterns and for already made items that I have sitting around in stock that haven't sold for a while. So that's my typical I guess it is late and I'm tired because I can't think of words. That's my typical mode of operation. Anyway, I'm going to get to crocheting that mouth puppet and then probably go to bed right after that because I am feeling tired. I could go to bed now, but I won't. Okay, so from the original pictures of the actual girl, I simplified the design a tiny bit by going down to 3 barrettes on each side of her bangs instead of 5. I showed the customer these pictures and she asked if I could get the 4th and the 5th one in there on each side. And I said I could, you just wouldn't see very much of the hair in between. And as it turned out, it was totally fine. It's still... I love the vibe of the over barretted hair strands. So I sent her this picture upon completion, and we both love the final product. This reviewer couldn't stop laughing when she got her flying spaghetti monster up on the tree. And this is my friend who left me the most glorious, glowing review. I have a tiny little story here. This mouth puppet that I shipped on this day, this was Thursday. It was supposed to go to somebody in the Netherlands. It was delivered to my house 2 days later on Saturday, and there was nothing written on the package about why it came back to me. And honestly, they just accidentally shipped it to the sender's address. So I took it back to the post office later when I went again the following Monday, which you'll see at the end of this video, and she was able to just put it back in the system. So every day starts out with a plan for how much I want to get through with my crochet. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, why wasn't I able to do as much as I wanted to? And it's just that I have other responsibilities. So like this morning I chose to take my kids to the doctor to make sure that their coughs weren't more serious than I was thinking. And it turns out that, yeah, my daughter does need some medications, and they both got chest x-rays just to make sure it's not like pneumonia or something. So they're doing okay. But as it turns out, the doctor was like, you got to keep your daughter home for 2 days. And I was like, oh gosh, okay. Because she needs to rest and like recover. So anyway, that was not really what I intended to talk about. But another thing that we did today is my daughter has friends in the band and choir. And so we went to see them perform at the high school tonight. And I took my crochet and I just grabbed something. So the next thing I need to make is another Rocky Owl. And so I wanted to bring something minimal to work with, something with just like one skein of yarn. So I brought this. I made this during the time between when we sat in our seats and the concert started, and then during intermission, I crocheted this much of the little sweater material that goes around the owl that the owl is sitting in. So I will definitely make the rest of the owl tonight. I will also get going on finishing up some Christmas tree toppers, the Flying Spaghetti Monster toppers. I have parts made for those, so I might be able to finish 1 or 2 tonight as well. I'm not sure how much I have to do on those. I don't remember how many parts I already have made and what parts I have made. And then to fill you in a little bit, I was looking for a particular color for an order, and I didn't have it in any of my regular stash of yarns. So I thought I'll go look in my tub where I have cotton yarns. And I have a few big bags, big plastic storage bags of my cotton yarns in a tub. And so just to see if I could find that particular color, I looked and I pulled out the bags, and I was looking at one bag and I didn't see the color. I pulled out another bag and I saw all this water in it, sort of moisture beaded up at the bottom of the bag. And I was like, what is that about? And so I took the bag out, I dumped it all out, and several of the skeins right at the bottom were just totally soaked through. And I'm just like, what the heck is that about? And then I remembered that when I discovered the leak in my ceiling, that bag was sitting out and a little off to the side. And I did notice that it had gotten splattered. And I thought that it was just like a little bit of water had like splattered along the bag, but apparently a good amount of water had dripped in. So, and then I put the bag back in the tote. Fortunately, it's all like brand new yarn, not like weird secondhand yarn with like stinkiness in it. So I think that's why it survived being wet in a bag in a tote for so long. For a couple weeks, because even the soaked skeins, they don't smell like mildewy or anything. So I separated them out between the skeins that were super soaked and the skeins that were just like slightly dampened on the outside. And I laid out the ones that were slightly dampened on a towel on my bed to kind of just let them air dry. And the ones that were super duper soaked, waterlogged, I put them in a couple of mesh bags with zippers and put them in the dryer, along with a towel, just to help like have something else in there to like help it dry. If you put a dry towel in a dryer with something wet, it helps to wick the moisture out of the wet thing, and it helps to like dry it more evenly, more quickly as well. And a lot of the labels were just waterlogged. I just took off like all of the wet labels as well. And I didn't know that these little balls of yarn and skeins were going to completely become unraveled and tangled with each other the way they did. So I hate throwing yarn away, and it's still damp. It like the dryer didn't dry it all the way. It just really tangled it. And so I'll show you what I'm working with. Come with me. There's the bag. There's the culprit. I thought I could trust you, balls of yarn. See, some of them stayed put together, mostly. Some of them completely like undid themselves, but stayed mostly on its own. But these ones, that's another story. So I'm going to try to reclaim this yarn, but it's going to take a while. But first, I have like a sensory thing. I don't have many sensory things, but I do have a sensory thing with damp yarn. And like, I don't want to touch it. It's like nails on a chalkboard, I guess. I guess nails on a chalkboard is also a sensory thing for me. But it is still damp. So I've just been leaving it spread out on the floor on this towel in my room with my fan going, because it's only like staying in the 40s every day outside. It's not getting hot and sunny to help dry this out. So I'm just leaving the fan on in my room, and every now and then kind of rotating this around, turning it so that it can dry out. And then once it's dry, then I will start to try to detangle this and roll these into separate skeins again, or separate balls again. But I cannot bear doing that while it's wet. Plus it's probably going to dry out much better this way, more thoroughly, than if I try to roll it up when it's damp. I think these will dry out all the way eventually. They are in a skein, but they're kind of a loose skein, as you can see. They're not like tightly balled up. But what I would do with balling them up, they would be much more compact and they wouldn't dry out. Plus, I don't want to touch the yarn. I don't want it running through my fingers when it's damp. Ugh. So I just went ahead and finished my owl with dry yarn. I am so lucky I get to do this for a living. I'm so lucky to have so many orders. I'm beside myself that people want me to do this so much that they'll give me money for it. And yeah, 6 years later, I still feel exactly the same way. Well, I did finish Rocky the Owl last night, but I did not get going on these flying spaghetti monsters at all, except to inventory what I have. So this is my bag of flying spaghetti monster stuff, parts that are already made and the yarns that I need to make them. And so I do have 4 sets of noodles. I have 4 total on order for these tree toppers, and I was going to do 2 and then something else and then 2 more, but they're all just due to ship within like a day or 2 of each other. So I'm just going to do 4 at once, and then I'll do the ornaments at once. So I do have the eyes for all 4. I only have 2 meatballs made, so I need to make 6 more meatballs, and then all 4 of their main body part, and then the little cone part that is like the tree topper. So that's what I need to make, and I'm gonna get going on this today. I should have more time to crochet today. My lofty goal for today is to finish 4 of these, but we'll see. Before I play you all the footage I grabbed of the making of these flying spaghetti monsters, I wanted to introduce another new track from my friend from high school, Michael Edminster, who makes music as Olympia Trout Patrol. He created this new tune, and he ended up calling it a reprise, but this was kind of his original concept. So I'm playing this one for you first. He was going for more of an ambient type of sound without the like super funky beats and stuff. And I think this is my favorite out of everything he's done so far. I do love everything he's done, and I'm so enjoying having it to alternate between, along with all of my older original recordings. So this was his first original idea for this tune, and then he couldn't help himself and ended up adding all the funky beats and extra instrumentation and stuff. And that one I will showcase a little bit later this video as well. So I love having both options. And if you're new here, the concept, what he's doing is he's taking my older recordings from back in college when I was a voice student and sampling from those using samples of my voice. This one in particular is sampled from a performance that I did with a friend of mine. We sang a duet. I sang a higher part, she sang a lower part. I can hear when her voice comes in. I love that I can distinctly hear her tone and mine. The composition we are singing in the original recording that he sampled from was written by a composition student at the time in the music department who I knew at the time, named Bob Allaire, and he also known as Robert Allaire. He's a big composer nowadays I think in Hollywood. He does movies and shows and video games. So I got his permission to let us use the original recording from his senior recital and sample from it and basically use it as material for making completely new music. And over the next part of the video, I will play for you the other track, which is basically the culmination of him expanding upon some musical ideas and adding beats. And this one is a bit longer. I will show you some raking of the leaves and the finishing of the flying spaghetti monsters. I also wanted to mention that Michael reached out to his friend Mark, who also makes music as Patient Turtle, to get his opinions on the finalizing of this music. So I like to give credit where credit is due, and I think we should do as much community building in the creative space as possible. Okay, isn't that beautiful? Let me know in the comments if you would stream any of this music that he's been making using my voice sampled. Also, you can stream his previous music right now already, so if you're interested, go check him out. Alrighty, here we have a working pile-up of stuff that's ready to ship. So I will be shipping on Monday. Today is only Saturday night. It's technically Sunday because it's after midnight. But I just finished this plush pussy hat, which I think I'll photograph probably on Monday morning because it looks like there will be more sun. I did sell 2 of my larynges. I think I have 3 more in stock. I was batch making these 10 at a time because I was just selling them so fast. And then the past year or two, I just haven't sold very many. So somebody bought 2, so that's pretty cool. There are the 4 Flying Spaghetti Monster tree toppers and the owl, and I will have time to make 4 Flying Spaghetti Monster ornaments to also include in this batch of shipments. I was at this stage in making the eyes when somebody bought another one, and I considered just adding another to the batch, but I stopped myself from doing that because I have other things to make first. And then I sold another one upon shipping. So I currently will have 2 more at least to make, but it is sitting in 14 shopping carts on Etsy right now. So by the time I get around to making those 2, I'll probably have another larger batch that I'll have to make. It is finally time. I've gone through all of the stuffed ornaments that I had ready. This is the last one, and I will be shipping at least 11 packages that I know of tomorrow. Possibly more if I sell something else that I already have made before tomorrow. But here's my bag of yarn scraps and fabric scraps that I've separated out from what I would want to use to make into yarn. So we've got, like I said, fabrics. This is from a t-shirt that we cut apart from my daughter's Halloween costume. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's some felt. Here's a crocheted flower. So I'm gonna use my scissors and sort of chop that all up a little bit smaller. And I'm going to add in a few handfuls of my other scraps from this bag, because look how full that is. And I want to have plenty to stuff more ornaments with. So I need to stuff at least 11, but I want to do more than that while I have this out. So maybe I'll shoot for this whole container full, and I'll do a time lapse. So I definitely made at least a few more than what I'll need for shipping tomorrow. I have a bunch more packs of these in a shed, so I can make more as I need. But that's all I feel like doing right now, and that's all I need to do right now. So now I'm going to jump into making a nana. I have to separate the yarns that I want to use and put them in an order that I want to use them. And this next nana is going to be named after volcanologist Jess Phoenix. Okay, I have now organized my yarns for making my next nana. This will be for Nana Jess, as in Jess Phoenix. She's a volcanologist, and she ran for Congress in my district when I used to live in Santa Clarita, and I made little dolls of her. I'll show you. And I thought, you know what, for her unique feature, I remembered that I bought a bag of lava rock beads, and I looked in 3 other places first before checking my bead box because I didn't remember them being in here, but they were. So I bought these because she had the idea that I could make the little dolls of her in her scientist outfit holding a bit of lava stone. So that's what this is. And this is my bead box. This has been in the family, my bead box, since I was a very little kid. This was my mom's before it was like ours, and now it's basically mine, but it's still ours technically. So I'm going to do something with those on the nana as the the unique item. So yeah, I was making dolls of her and selling them and donating the money from those to her campaign. And I've talked about her before. She's the one that I did that really cool campaign video with her for her by making a puppet that ended up being voiced by Patton Oswalt. And I got to meet Will Wheaton because of it and everything. I will link to that video in the description box if that's piqued your interest and you haven't seen me talk about that before. But I don't know, maybe like a little necklace for the Nana, or beads around her belly or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Oh yeah, and also for the fancy yarns that's gonna go between the different colors of the body of these yarns for the main body. For these, I just went with any of the sort of fiery lava kind of colors. So I know lava probably isn't ever yellow. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I went with fiery. Red, orange, yellow. And now you know that the little bits of yellow in these ones is cut up t-shirt. The past few weeks I've been shipping about twice a week, but usually when we get to around this time, I may start shipping almost every day just to make sure that everything has the best chance of arriving in time for Christmas, in case that's what somebody ordered something for. So just this time of year, I am so thankful to have so much business. But yes, I spent a lot of time doing this packaging stuff. I love it when my customers let me use their photos. So this customer has bought a bunch of green stuff from me, and at some point soon I may just have to put together a reel of just her in the green stuff I've crocheted for her. You should recognize these gloves from, I believe, just last week's video. Hello. I wanted to set this up so that I could maybe kind of be on frame while showing my tangle of yarn here. If you want to see me untangle this yarn, you'll have to wait until next week's video, because I need to get this video edited and posted tomorrow. Here's the Nana that I've been working on. I will finish this today, and you will also see this completed in next week's video. And I have a little rant. I'll try to stay in frame. With Etsy. So I've lost my star seller badge status on Etsy for December. And you know why? That's because one of the factors, there are 3 different ones: messaging with customers, reviews, I think. No, I can't remember. I think it is reviews, and like positive reviews, and shipping status. You need to have like 95% or better for each of those, including shipping status. And what they want to see with shipping is that not only have you shipped or marked it as completed an order on time for the time frame that you've set on Etsy, but they want to see a tracking number. And okay, that's cool, except sometimes I sell to people who are here in person with me and I just hand them the item. So Etsy actually has an option to click on that says hand delivered. And it says you're acknowledging to the system, but there is no tracking number. And you know what they do? They count that as an item that you've shipped with no tracking number, basically. It counts against you to sell in person and not have a tracking number. So if you go into my shop and you notice that I've lost the star seller badge, just know that that's only because I sold a few items in person to my mom. Yeah, enough items that it dropped my percentage of items shipped with a tracking number down below 95%. It's asinine. Those items, if you say that you're hand delivering it, should not count against you as an item that you've shipped without a tracking number, but it does. And I've reached out to Etsy about this before, and they don't do anything about it. So that's frustrating, but it's also like I would rather still have people buy in my shop, because any sale in your shop is good for SEO, regardless of whether it loses my star seller status for that month. So as frustrating as it is, I just see that it is what it is, and I'm going to keep selling on Etsy because overall it's been a good thing for me. I get a lot of customers finding me because of the platform. So I'll keep doing it. And I'm going to sign out because I'm starting to get a sore neck from doing this. So tune in next week. Crochet hooks and colors bright, crafting wonders day and night. Join the fun, come see it through, subscribe, and I'll create for you. And please subscribe.